Hey, so you're planning on coming back to Canada. One thing which we have always believed here at the Canadian Expat is that returning Canadians, regardless of where you're moving back from, add more value to Canada. Your experience, the knowledge you have of another region from the Canadian perspective, perhaps linguistic skills and job skills, it's all a huge plus for Canada. And we're excited to see you come home. But probably the reason you found this video is that you've been searching for some advice on what you need to do in order to return to Canada. Well, I'm going to give you a few things to think about. Before we get into the list, I need to say that there's a basic assumption that I'm making, and that's that you, as most people, have made the decision only a month or two before you're planning to come back to Canada. It's a little bit of a short planning window. If you are planning for a return back to Canada 6 months or more out, you're in good shape. This list is still for you, but one huge advantage that you have is you have the ability to start looking for a new home and a new job with some comfort. If you've only got a month or two, it's going to be a little bit harder to do those things. Now, if you're an executive or someone looking for an executive position in Canada, check out our interview here with the lead from a Canadian executive search firm from Vancouver who gives some advice specifically for you. We're also making an assumption that you're fine on the immigration front, meaning that if you have a spouse or partner who's not a Canadian citizen, you've already started the application for a permanent resident for them. We also have a whole series where we ask questions to an immigration lawyer here in Canada. You can find that playlist here. All right, let's get to that list. Number 1, get your health records in order. Now, this can take a bit of time depending on where you are currently located, but if you've had some health issues in the past, once you're in Canada, it can be quite difficult to obtain the information your doctors here might need. And generally, if you need health records, more often than not, time is of the essence. Talk to your doctor and start the process to get your records. While I was in Japan, I had a bone tumor removed from my shoulder, and having the records and a letter from my doctor in Japan was amazingly helpful once I got back to Canada. Number 2. Speaking of health, you're going to want to arrange for health insurance for the first 3 months back in Canada. Your provincial health care won't kick in until then, and if something does happen, you could end up with some serious bills. So seek out health insurance for those 3 months. Number 3, sort out the stuff that you'll want to take back to Canada, and particularly any bulky stuff that you won't need. Now, start selling that stuff as soon as possible, whether it be on Craigslist, Facebook, or some local site. There are probably new expats in the area where you are who will need a bed frame or a cabinet or whatever. The point is, you'll need some time to get rid of this stuff. You can use the cash if you only have a few weeks to a month to go, and you can probably live without too much stuff around the house. Think like a minimalist. Number 4, you're going to want to make a detailed list of a lot of the smaller things that you'll need to do and the people you will need to meet. Every person, every situation, every region in the world is unique, so it would have been impossible to provide an absolutely comprehensive list of things to do in this video. So start thinking about all the little things you'll need to do, like keys returned to your landlord, parking passes maybe, or library books returned, utilities to be cut, and all of the friends who you promised that last cup of coffee or beer with. Number 5, start packing. It's never too early to start packing. Unless you're moving from the US and you're planning on renting a moving truck, you're going to want to send some of the stuff pretty soon. Think about your seasonal clothing, which you won't need for a while. It'll probably be cheaper to ship a lot of that stuff ahead of time than paying overage fees with the airlines. Number 6, finances are a big deal. You're going to want to send any significant savings back to Canada as soon as possible. Paul Carews has an amazing site for those moving back to Canada, and he says that it's much cleaner for the Canada Revenue Agency if you follow the general policy, cash to Canada first, you, then your personal goods. Now, we would advise you not to have more than $10,000 in cash on you when you return. While carrying that much or more is by no means illegal at all, you do have to declare it. And it could raise some flags and could possibly, and that's a very remote possibility, but it could possibly trigger an investigation into things like money laundering. If you don't declare it though, you could be in a heap of trouble. Regardless, it's not worth the hassle. Send money ahead of time. Speaking of banks and finance, if you're watching this as a bit of a preemptive measure just before you move to the US or just after you move to the US, at some point you're probably going to want to apply for a US credit card. And this is a great point to mention the sponsor of this video. When you do get to applying for US credit, they're going to need to check your credit history. If you're a Canadian who has just moved to the States, you'll find it challenging without a local credit history. This is where Nova Credit comes into play. They've partnered with Equifax in Canada and American Express to help you use your Canadian credit history to apply for credit cards in the US. If your application is accepted, you can start building your US credit history straight away. That has benefits way beyond just the credit card itself. With a US credit history, you can apply for apartments, loans, mortgages, and other products and services much more easily. Learn more about Nova Credit by clicking the website in the description. And that's it for this video. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Until next time.